And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what you get in these YouTube videos, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. And if you point and click anywhere on this map of the continental U.S. that comes up, or also you have Hawaii and Alaska in the lower left with tabs for the territories, it'll give you a very specific forecast for anywhere in the nation, a good way to check up on what the weather's like at places where friends and family live. And a quick check of the map this afternoon, we find our freeze watch for areas of the lower Great Lakes, southern lower Michigan, northern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. We actually have frost advisories and freeze warnings for parts of western Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, severe thunderstorm watch, north central Texas, and red flag warning for south central Colorado. Here in Alaska, the only current advisory I have to speak of is a winter weather advisory associated with this Bering Sea low and frontal system that's pushing up towards St. Lawrence Island and along the Yukon-Kuskokwim coastline. There's still a winter weather advisory for St. Lawrence Island through late tonight. But at this time, we have late this afternoon the full pink moon of April, and that will be prominent in the nighttime sky coming up. We have coming up tomorrow, just want as a highlight, we are going to have one of the River Forecast Center forecasters, Mike Ottenweller, showing up to give us a River Watch video update on how things are shaping up for the river breakup season. And it's looking like we're going to see more of a progressive weather pattern and some warmer temperatures emerging end of this month into early May across areas of southwest and southern Alaska. So maybe finally some spring-like warmth beginning to set up. But in the meantime, still some winter to deal with. The northern Bering Sea, this front has a band of snow and blowing snow with it, where winter weather advisory is still in effect for St. Lawrence Island through late tonight. Savunga reporting some light snow and blowing snow, 32 degrees. On the south end of this front, as it's worked its way east up into the Alaska Peninsula, it has produced some light rain but windy conditions there at Cold Bay with a temperature of 43 as of mid-afternoon. Cordova along the northern Gulf coastline there, mostly sunny, a weak ridge of high pressure providing that sunshine, some high clouds, temperature at 54. And then Ketchikan in the far southern panhandle has picked up a few light rain showers and sprinkles today with the temperature holding at 47, considerably cooler than the sunshine in 60s that much of the panhandle, especially the southern panhandle, enjoyed this past weekend and last week. Well, we are at the point now, literally this afternoon, late afternoon, 4:49 p.m. Alaska Daylight Time. The full pink moon of April occurs, and that'll be prominent in the sky here the next few nights. We also have a chance of a few coronal mass ejections arriving that could trigger some minor geomagnetic storms and perhaps enhance aurora, but we're really getting near the tail end now of the aurora viewing season in Alaska, simply because the growing amount of daylight and the shortening length of night, plus you have a full moon in the sky. It would have to be an exceptional aurora display to really be visible. So we may have to wait again until very late next summer or early fall before we have a chance of really seeing a good aurora display again. And coming up for tomorrow, we have a video update tomorrow, Wednesday, April 24th, and this will be included, tacked onto this public weather segment. And you'll get the latest update and outlook for the river breakup season provided by River Forecast Center forecaster Mike Ottenweller. Looking at the state as far as any current advisories, watches, warnings, the only thing we have out there through late tonight is around St. Lawrence Island, a winter weather advisory for some snow and blowing snow. Just kind of more of a nuisance snow event because we're getting so far now on into spring. Not uncommon though for St. Lawrence to still have some winter weather to contend with. The rest stayed pretty quiet, though, nothing enough that rises to advisory or warning criteria. But looking at the satellite imagery, I don't even have to put it in motion. You can see where there's this wound-up low in the wraparound clouds associated with an occluded front that's really wrapped in around this thing. We also have another weaker low southwest of Haisley, and that's why there have been some light rain showers, especially across the southern half of the Panhandle this afternoon. So putting it into motion, you can see some of that moisture kind of pull northward across the Panhandle. Given the sunshine, a little instability, it doesn't take much to generate a few light showers. Areas of the interior fairly quiet, some thinner high clouds and some sunshine, temperatures 40s. A few readings in the 50s, but here is the main weather feature. This low bottomed out below 970 millibars, and the occluded front wraps up and is now pushing toward St. Lawrence Island and right here along the lower Yukon and Kuskokwim deltas, with initially a band of snow in this northern section of the front. Southern section of the front, it mixes with a little bit of rain and then just as plain old rain, especially from Bristol Bay southward. And again, some gusty southeasterly winds along and ahead of that front. So here's the system as of this afternoon. Low pressure there over the central Bering, 969 millibar pressure with a triple point low going to try to take shape here. Weak high pressure, northern Gulf, southern mainland, and a couple of lingering lows back here over western Canada and just off of Haida-Gwaii. That's what's providing some instability and moisture to generate some cloud cover and a few light showers there across, especially the southern half of the Panhandle today. And as we go into late tonight, still a weak area of high pressure over south central, northern Gulf Coast. And we have the low it's going to sit and spin here and gradually fill over the central Bering Sea. It will not be until Friday morning before that low heads southeastward and crosses the eastern Aleutians and the tip of the Alaska Peninsula, and then will reemerge into the North Pacific. But right now it looks like early in the weekend that low should stay south of the Gulf. This secondary low is not going to become a major player like sometimes happens, especially in the winter season. It'll be out there south of the Gulf Wednesday afternoon, with the low again just gradually beginning to fill before it starts heading southeastward, and the frontal boundary just kind of troughs out and weakens along the west coast. And as we go into Thursday afternoon, coldest air is up here in north central Canada along the Canadian Arctic coast. We have that weaker secondary low that just is kind of near the lower Gulf, North Pacific interface, and here's that low now at 996 millibars. It'll begin drifting southeastward and continue to weaken across the eastern Aleutians on Friday morning. So forecast for temperatures tonight, generally above freezing throughout the Panhandle, mid-30s to near 40 degrees. Readings across south central will dip below freezing the interior up toward Talkeetna. You get up there around the Copper River Basin, near or just above freezing in Anchorage as long as you keep the skies clear. And then temperatures for Wednesday afternoon, we're looking at highs upper 40s and 50s here throughout the Panhandle. Back here through south central could be flirting with 50, 57 Talkeetna, 53 Gulkana, and then for Thursday morning lows very similarly near or below freezing as you get inland. Anchorage Bowl just above freezing, and back out here across the Panhandle, mid-30s to near 40 Sitka. And then temperatures again getting back up generally in the 50s across the Panhandle. If you get enough sun, maybe squeaking out a 60-degree reading there. And even up here up toward Talkeetna, 57, 56 Glen Allen, 54 the other side of the Alaska Range at McGrath. But readings a little cooler right along the immediate Gulf, staying in the mid-40s or so for highs. In the far north, not as cold as it has been the past couple of mornings. Lows near 10 above, few upper single-digit readings, and then lows generally around or below freezing here through the Yukon Valley. And temperatures, though, Wednesday afternoon, favorably see some 50s, Galena, McGrath, up through Tanana, 60 at Fairbanks, 50s along the Alcan border. So the middle upper Yukon Valley warming up nicely during the daytime, that typical spring freeze-thaw cycle. At nighttime it dips down near or a bit below freezing. Again, coldest readings Thursday morning will be along the Arctic coast from around Nuix at Deadhorse through Kaktovik in the single digits. Around 30 or freezing mark here surrounding Norton Sound. And then temperatures again Thursday afternoon very similar, back up into the 50s, even near 60 at Eagle, and again around Fairbanks. Coolest readings, highs only upper teens to near 20 at best along the Arctic coast. And some readings around Norton Sound at least above freezing, same thing, 35 Kotzebue. So at least even areas of the west will see some moderation in temperature. And then out along the southwest tonight, areas will generally stay above freezing with that front pushing in the cloud cover and some light precipitation. High temperatures Wednesday afternoon, though, will be confined with the cloud cover and areas of precipitation that linger. Highs generally mid to upper 30s along the coast, lower 40s as you get inland, Bethel on up toward Anvik. And as we get into Thursday morning, still some lingering cloud cover here could keep temperatures generally above freezing, and again mid-upper 30s along the Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. And then temperatures Thursday afternoon, still low 40s from around Bethel, and as you go up the Yukon and Kuskokwim River basins, you'll find warmer temperatures as you get up toward McGrath, 54, but coolest readings only in the upper 30s along the coastline there, the lower Yukon and Kuskokwim bays. And then as we get down out here, extending out along the lower portion of the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians, highs in the lower 40s. So here's the temperature outlook, still mirroring the trend I showed you yesterday, very end of April into the beginning of May. Looks like temperatures could average a bit above normal here across southern Alaska, back toward the southwest. Coolest readings up along the North Slope and Arctic coast. Readings could average a bit below normal, and then near normal for the Panhandle. Still showing that we could see a little more of a progressive weather pattern where low pressures are either coming out of the North Pacific into the Bering and working their way eastward, or coming up out in the North Pacific toward the Gulf. So there's a potential for precipitation to average a little above normal, especially across the central western mainland. This time of year, though, is normally the driest time of year, so that would not be especially heavy as far as storms go, but something to keep in mind. Overall, the trend, though, as we get into May, will be for some further warming across a good portion of the mainland. So stay tuned to later forecast, and we'll see how things unfold here as we finally get into the month of May.